if you give a group of really good creative people a tight brief, right, by which you describe what sits at the center of it, what's the operating thought, and what are some of the parameters that sit around it. You don't tell them what the idea is at all. You avoid that entirely. You don't tell them how. You tell them, if you imagine that the world is, or ideas are split into what and how, what are we going to do and how are we going to do it? Tell them the what, and then give them a day, maybe 2 days if they're really lucky. Definitely don't give them a week or a month or see what you come up with, come back and tell me when you come up with something good. Because all creative people, certainly the ones that run to deadlines, only do all the good work in the last 10 minutes just before they've got to present it. Because, you know, they're used to that. They're used to go, oh, damn. And then come up with something really good. So just give them the last 10 minutes.
If you're in the kind of media startup space, could you kind of almost build that into your own processes? If you know that's the natural psyche of folk who are drawn into, right?
Yeah, that's what we did. That's what we did at IPC. We created what in the olden days was called a skunk works.
Yeah,
you know, Boeing and you know, it was a kind of a wartime innovation shed.
That we won't tell anyone. This is the secret project.
Yeah, exactly. And so somebody would come in and go, we need something that's gonna blow up these tanks, right? We need it by next week. Go on, right? And clever people go, oh, okay, right, I know what the aim is. What about this? And it's that intense pressure to come up with an answer to a question in a short period of time. It's amazing to work in. And that's why what I used to do was I used to very quickly churn people through it, because, you know, they'll come up with ideas and then that's it. And they're happy because they've come up with a solution. So crafting the question in the first place, there's only one what for every solution here, right? Or for every product. There's only one what. There are a million hows. There are a million solutions. I want to work with people who come up with new ideas all the time, try them out. If they're brilliant, we go, yeah, we come up with a great idea. And if they're not brilliant, they go, okay, fair enough. And just chuck them away. Do you know what I mean? You're getting caught on the wonder of your new idea when it's just an idea. It's different when it's a business. You can't just decide to walk away from it once you've launched it as a business. But the whole process of developing ideas, developing business ideas and everything else, until it's real, it can always change.